Welcome to The Sweat. I'm your host, Jessie Coffield. Today, we're talking all kinds of sports, MLB, NFL, but the hardwood is where we begin. Say hello to DK Live's Julian Edlow, our resident ball expert. Jules, let's jump into a game of NBA playoff futures. Basically, we're looking at some of the playoff betting angles heading into the postseason. So, the Warriors are heavy favorites to win the title again, but you can also take the field on DK Sportsbook. Would you give the field a shot here?
I don't think I would, and it's not just because I do think that the Warriors are going to cut down the nets here. They're 8-1 in NBA Finals games since they got Kevin Durant. They've won those games by an average margin of 14.4 points. So the Warriors deserve to be these heavy favorites. But if I was going to take a stab at someone else, how many teams are really capable of beating the Warriors? Not that many. So rather than take those low odds, plus 150 on the field, you know, the next highest team to win it all is the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 850. If I think 1, 2, 3 teams have a chance to beat the Warriors, I would just sprinkle on those teams at much better odds than take the 150 on the field here.
We just mentioned them, but if it can't be the Warriors, the Bucks, Raptors, and Rockets have the best odds to win the title. Who would you say has the best shot if the Warriors get knocked out? Is it going to be the Bucks?
I do think it is the Bucks. They're pretty heavily favored in the East. I think they're a little too favored in the East, to be honest, but they do deserve to be the favorites based on the regular season resume. They did beat Golden State pretty handily in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee would have home court if a Golden State versus Milwaukee series were to occur. So the Warriors would be, forced to win at least one tough road game in Milwaukee. So for me, this comes down to, when you look at this, there's 4 Eastern Conference teams that we've been talking about all season. The Bucks at plus 850, the Raptors plus 900, Philadelphia plus 1200, and the Boston Celtics at plus 1600. I think if there's any one of those teams that you like more than the other, they're all pretty evenly balanced in terms of talent, at least. So if there's a team that you like there, you can bet them either to win the Eastern Conference so that they don't have to get through the Warriors, and maybe put a little bit more on those finals odds, those championship odds there too. But I wouldn't want to be betting on another team in the Western Conference like the Rockets, for example.
Well, we touched on it briefly, but finally the Bucks have the best odds to win the Eastern Conference. Would you say they should have the best odds to go to the NBA Finals?
Yes, I would say they should have the best odds, but not by as much as they do. When you look at this, the Bucks are a little bit too favored. Like I just said, I think that those 4 teams, the Celtics, Raptors, Sixers, and Bucks, all relatively have similar talent. So when you look at this, Milwaukee plus 165, I don't think any team should necessarily be less than plus 200 to win the Eastern Conference. So this makes me look more at teams like the Sixers plus 260, like the Celtics plus 300 to get out of the Eastern Conference. I would look more at those, I guess if you want to call them long shots, to make it out, because I think they have similar talent. A team like the Celtics has been in more positions like this than Milwaukee, who the Celtics took out in the playoffs last season. So although the Bucks have been tremendous, it's kind of their first year in this heavyweight position. I think one of these other teams in the East might be worth the longer odds to look at.
Excellent work as always, Julian. Now we got a special treat for all of you, the Showtime sports documentary film, The Resurgence, DeMarcus Cousins, which chronicles the journey of NBA superstar DeMarcus Boogie Cousins following his season-ending Achilles tendon tear through rehabilitation, free agency, and his eventual return to the sport. Don't miss the up-close and personal documentary premiering Saturday, April 13th at 8 p.m. on Showtime.
The persona of DeMarcus is that he's a problem.
15 technical fouls.
But once you get to know DeMarcus, you know that's not the case. When you see me, you ain't trying to see me.
He has a chance to write his own story now.
You gotta go through a storm to find some sunshine.
Boogie hammers it on the run.
Baseball is underway, so Steve Buchanan is here to talk MLB early season surprises, aka, do you agree with these teams' chances to win their divisions? So let's start down south. The Rays are currently in first place in the AL East, but their odds to win the division are still only plus 400, which is the 3rd best odds out of the 5 teams. So do you think those odds should be better or worse?
I mean, honestly, I think they're just right. I mean, the problem with the Rays is the division that they play in. I mean, they have the Red Sox and the Yankees. They're both off to really slow starts. I mean, look, the Red Sox pitching staff has been absolutely atrocious, but you can't see that trend going on all season long with the talent that they have on there. And then with the Yankees, they're just injury-ridden all across the board. They have so many injuries that they're dealing with right now, and they're just going to get healthier as the season goes on. And the thing with the Rays is they just don't have a lot of power that they can sustain all season long and match up with these teams. They don't have CJ Cron anymore. They don't have Jake Bauers. Those are two of their bigger power bats in that lineup last year. Without those guys, they have actually some of the lowest power in the league. And right now, with a plus 24 run differential that they have, I think that's going to come crashing down as the season comes along. So I think the odds are set right third overall because I don't see them taking the division.
Steve, the Tigers are near the top of the standings in the AL Central, but still only have the fourth best odds to win the division. They're at plus 2,800. So do you agree with that?
So cute. It's so cute that the Tigers are making this little beginning of the season run because the AL Central is just an absolute tragedy. I mean, the Indians are dealing with a brash of injuries right now. The White Sox and the Royals, I mean, the best you can say about them is that, well, they show up to the ballpark every single day. The Twins are the ones that are going to be winning this division, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to even be close. The thing with the Tigers right now is that their rotation is just pitching out of their minds right now. They're off to an absolutely stellar start, but with guys like Jordan Zimmerman, Tyson Ross, they're pitching a little bit over their head right now. And the Tigers own one of the worst run differentials in the league right now. Once that rotation starts coming down and coming back to life like they should be pitching, you're going to see them down at the, near the lower part of that division. So the odds are nice. It's giving you really good bang for your buck, but there is absolutely no way they're going to take the division. So I think the odds, again, they're pretty high, but I like where it's at.
All right, we'll see if you think this one is cute. Out west, the Mariners are off to a hot start. First place in the division, but still only have the third best odds to win the AL West at plus 1,000. So do you think their odds should be better than that?
It's crazy because, this team is supposed to be going through a rebuild right now, and they're playing like that rebuild has been going on for 3 years, and now they're going to be in contention. I have no doubt that this offense is going to sustain and keep raking all season long. Granted, that they're not going to be averaging 8 runs per game like they are right now. That offense is chock full of power. What's going to kill them in the long run is their defense. They have one of the worst ranked infields in the league, so it shouldn't come as any surprise that they've already committed 18 errors on the season. The Cubs, for reference, have made 12, and they're second in the league. Their bullpen for the Mariners is also going to be a major issue. That was something they absolutely gutted during the offseason, and that's going to come back to bite them here. The A's are going to be the team to beat in this division. Once they start solidifying their pitching staff, they're going to be ones that are going to take the division now. So I think actually the Mariners are a little too high right now because of the run that they're on right now, but I don't see them taking the division. This might be a pretty close race, but they're just not going to be able to take it down in the end.
All right, fantastic work, Steve. You are free to go. As for all of you watching at home, another treat for you. Live on Showtime Boxing, undefeated champs Clarissa Shields and Christina Hammer go head-to-head in a long-awaited unification battle for the undisputed women's middleweight title. Do not miss out on the action Saturday, April 13th at 9 p.m. on Showtime.
I fight like a girl.
I know you know it, I can't control it. Call me the greatest here in this moment.
I fight like a woman.
I'm unstoppable, it's impossible. I am the ruler and I reign till I can't no more.
I fight like a queen, like a queen.
All the queen, bow down to me. Step up on the scene and they bow down to me.
It's Shields versus Hammer to become the undisputed women's middleweight champion on Showtime.
Welcome back to DraftKings' The Sweat. It's time to talk football with Reed Fowler. Now, Reed, we're playing some over-under team win totals for the 2019 season. So, do you see these teams going over or under the following win totals? Let's start with the Steelers. So, they've lost 2 of their best players in Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell heading into this season. DK Sportsbook is setting their win total at 9. Would you go over or under here?
Yeah, I'm going to go under on this. I think they come in even like second in their division. They're no longer the top spot. That's going to go to Cleveland. Let's say optimistically they look at their schedule and they say they can win 4 out of those 6 in their division. They're out of division games against the Rams, against the Patriots. They have their schedule out of the division is pretty difficult. So I'm going to say under here. I think losing those key guys is going to be tough. I know that offensive line, and we have James Conner and obviously Ben Roethlisberger. They didn't make any marquee signings in the free agency yet. Dante Moncrief doesn't really move the needle for me, so I'm going to say under for the Steelers.
All right, well, speaking of Cleveland, the Browns haven't won 10 games since 2007. DK Sportsbook is setting their over-under at 9.5. Do you think they could reach double-digit wins this season?
I think it's going to be really close. I'm going to say yes, optimistically. Again, this is probably the first team that we have in recent history of a super team in football, right? You have OBJ, Landry, Nick Chubb there, obviously Kareem Hunt when he comes off a suspension, but they even made some signings on the defensive side as well with Olivier Vernon, and they obviously still have Myles Garrett there on that defense. Remains to be seen how this coaching staff is going to move forward with this team, but look, they were 3-2-1 in their division last year, and that team didn't really give us any sort of hope at the beginning of the season, but obviously they played a lot better. And Baker, now with his second year, I think this team does have a good chance. Again, their division or their schedule out of division isn't that tough. There's going to be some key games against the Broncos, the Titans. There's going to be some games that could go either way that could get them over that number. So I'm going to say over optimistically.
All right, finally, the Patriots have the highest over-under of any team with 11 wins. So do you think the reigning champs can go over that mark?
Yeah, you don't bet against Patriots, right? I'm going to say yes. Again, this really harps on their out of division schedule. But look, the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins are going to dolphin, so they haven't really made any changes. But the Jets and the Bills have made some changes to their team. Obviously, with the Jets signing Le'Veon Bell, they have some key guys there, and they're looking to contend, right, with for the NFC East against the Patriots. But the Patriots, again, coming with their schedule out of division pretty easy. Look, they should have gone 6-0 last season if it wasn't for that Miami game where they won the last second of that kickoff return. They should have gone 6-0 in their division. I think it's safe to say that they can contend with that. We're gonna wait and see what it means to not have Gronk on the roster as of now, as of today. But I'm gonna say over for the Patriots.
All right, thanks for taking us home, Reed. That's going to do it for The Sweat. I'm Jessie Coffield. Be sure to tune into The Sweat weekdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on DraftKings' Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube pages. Plus, you can always watch us on the DK Live app. We'll see you next time.